they need to make one more. Here's my case why. When you think of like the greatest characters in cinema, Han Solo, Indiana Jones, they're both Harrison Ford. It's a coincidence, I promise. What do these characters have in common? You think back on their finest moments. You think of, Han Solo. Oh yeah, that's the, heart of gold, wisecracking guy from the greatest, trilogy ever in a lot of people's minds. James Bond, for example. Oh, you think of like Sean Connery and how cool he is. Humphrey Bogart from Casablanca. You think, wow, those scenes are so compelling that they're in and they just have so much to them, so much depth. Captain Jack Sparrow is one of those. He's one of the most popular and iconic characters in all of cinema. When you think back on his stuff, if this were just, say, the first 1, 2, even 3 movies, even 4 movies, you would think, okay, you'd either think like, he's, a fantastic movie series, or you'd be like, okay, well, he's had some hits and misses, but you know what? At the end of the day, great character, still really strong. But we live in a world where the last one was Dead Men Tell No Tales, the 5th movie from 2017, which is almost a decade ago now. That movie sucks. It's easily the worst one in the series. The box office agrees, Rotten Tomatoes agrees, everything about it is weaker than all other 4 movies combined. The issue with Jack Sparrow, primarily, there's a lot of issues that they've had as it's gone on, but the main thing is that in that first movie, the first trilogy even, the Gore Verbinski trilogy, but mostly in that first movie, he is a strong, competent, smart character. Every scene he's in, he's always trying, or usually successfully, but sometimes not, outsmarting the people around him. That's what made him interesting, too, is that he oftentimes failed, but it's still fun to watch, and he's still a very strong, powerful leader. I mean, hell, by the end of the film, he regains the Black Pearl. He gets it back. He does that. He triple crosses everyone around him just to do that, and it's really interesting to see how it's done and why. There's just something that's slowly been lost, like, Dead Man's Chest. Sorry, the second one's Dead Man's Chest. Dead Man's Chest comes out. I actually really like that movie more than the first one, but I will admit, Jack Sparrow's character, while still strong and competent and awesome, did take a little step down, and then At World's End took a little step down from that, and then on Stranger Tides, he's just like a buffoon. He's like a hooligan who's always falling down and going, whoop-de-doop, looks like I, blew up a pirate ship on accident. And then Dead Men Tell No Tales is like the worst one. The first scene you've seen him is like he's stuck in a safe or something like that, and the safe door opens, and the whole village is watching the safe, and he's sleeping with the mayor's wife or something, and he does like a quip, and he looks and sounds nothing like he did in that first movie. And it's just, it feels like it's strayed so far from the character that we knew and loved and is iconic from that first movie, even the first trilogy. Gore Verbinski did all the first 3. 2 and 3 were shot back to back. There is a through narrative in those first 3 movies. There's a singular vision through those first 3 movies that does not carry over to 4 and definitely doesn't carry over to part 5. I'm not saying Gore is the only guy who can do it, but get someone who can do it, who can at least bring it back to where it should be. Get a competent blockbuster director. There's tons of them. The point being, with how important Jack Sparrow is that this character deserves so much more than that ending. This character is so important to a lot of people. It's easily Johnny Depp's most popular, famous role. And like I said, it's one of the greatest characters in Hollywood cinema, most popular, most iconic. When people think about Jack Sparrow, I was talking about what people think about when they think about Han Solo and Indiana Jones and James Bond, they think about their highlights. When people think about Jack Sparrow today, they think about, those Pirates movies really went downhill. That Jack Sparrow really got annoying after a while, that 4th or 5th one. It even got nominated for a Razzie Award at some point, saying like, it's a worn-out shtick, worn-out drunk routine, get it off the screen, it's a has-been. The thing is, you can keep playing a character with the same shtick and keep the movies good and keep challenging yourself in terms of writing, in terms of acting. Look at what Wolverine did. There's twice as many movies with Wolverine in it as there are with Jack Sparrow. And he always does the same, gnarly bub thing. It's very minimalist, very one-note character. But what do? They give you great fucking movies. X-Men Origins is not one of them. But they gave you Logan. Deadpool and Wolverine, I think, is like one of the best MCU movies, because now it counts as an MCU movie. My point with all this is that Wolverine will go down as one of the most iconic movie characters in history. Because, yes, there have been downbeats. There have been X-Men The Last Stands. There have been X-Men Apocalypse, yeah, he was in that in like one scene. There have been downbeats with the Wolverine character, sure, but there have been such high highs, and it's gone up and down, and it ended strong, and then ended strong a second time with Deadpool and Wolverine. Captain Jack Sparrow doesn't have that. He doesn't. He has a great movie to start. I think a great movie in Dead Man's Chest. I like that second movie a lot. And then 3, 4, 5, it tapers down. It's a downward trajectory. So now when people think about him, they think, oh, geez, that guy again. You know, that character. I used to like that, but probably just nostalgia. You know, it's not all that great now. It's not nostalgia. It is that great of a movie. Watch it today. That first one holds the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about because you saw part 5, it turned you off to the franchise, and now you just don't care about the Pirates of the Caribbean series. Do you really want, for the rest of history, for the rest of time, for when people think of those iconic characters I said at the start of the video, when they get to Jack Sparrow, they think, oh, yeah, because they're so burnt out from those bad movies that got worse and worse? Or do you want them to think, yeah, that's one of the greats, and he has so many great moments, especially in the first few, and then the last one, so good. Really makes the whole journey worth it. Isn't that what you want your legacy to be? I'm talking about, like, Johnny specifically. Like, don't you want this character to flourish? And I get that the studio makes the decisions and you don't, but you have so much power and so much bargaining chips now. You are on the cusp of an upswing, especially after the Amber Heard trial. You have so much leverage. Only you can play this character. They're never going to recast it. They can try and move on and make a spin-off with all women or something like that, but it doesn't matter because it's not the characters they know and love. It's not Captain Jack Sparrow. So they can't do it. They would, but it wouldn't make money. It would make anywhere near the kind of money that you would make if you came back. So wouldn't you rather leverage the power you have, Mr. Depp, respectfully? Wouldn't you rather lobby to Disney and get your own team of creatives involved, just like Tom Cruise is doing Mission Impossible, and say, hey, this idea, this magical script for Pirates 6 is the greatest swan song ever. Disney, you should produce this. What are they going to say? No? Or they not want $1 billion more? Like, they're going to be like, hell yeah, let's fucking do it. If you're the studio and you see the situation that you have the rights to one of the most iconic and important characters in film history, you put him in fucking Kingdom Hearts of all things because he's so important and iconic and marketable, and you know that all franchises eventually come to an end. You can spin-offs or reboot them later, but you gotta end the main series. Iron Man, same company, Disney also did that with Iron Man. They ended the main series with Iron Man, and they've concluded that character's arc, concluded the story. Imagine if Iron Man made 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies in a row, and they just got worse and worse and worse. Of course, Downey Jr. would be like, well, I'm done. Fuck you guys. I'm not going to do it for 1 million alpacas and $300 million, or whatever the hell Johnny Depp said. Like, that would be Robert Downey if Marvel screwed him over, like Disney has screwed over Depp. So, as a company, if I were to appeal to the company Disney to make another one, if you know that this is one of the most important characters to a lot of people in the world, not just America, but the whole world, and you know that another movie just writes itself in terms of it being competent or well-written at all, you could shit tomorrow, you could have like a ton of writers lining up to give you scripts for a new Captain Jack Sparrow centric Pirates movie, because that's all they make now, is just centric around that one character. You know how important this is to the people around the world that really care about this character and really care about this series and have genuine fun, and you know, and this is the greedy part working here, you know that at their worst, at their weakest, it makes $700 million at the box office. Oh my God, I just looked it up. It's 795, basically $800 million. Their worst day at the box office is an $800 million movie. That's insane. Be that as it may, and the fact that it's been almost 10 years, which is still close enough to make a true sequel, but almost as far to make a legacy sequel, and legacy sequels are hot shit right now, conclude the franchise. Bill it as the last one, like Mission Impossible is doing. A great comparison to draw is Mission Impossible. That series has been going on for so long, and yes, Mission Impossible 2 was not great. But what have they done? Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie, this great team, have worked together with their team of writers and producers and focused solely on making the best movies possible for 30 freaking years. And now here we are, with Mission 7 being like one of the best ones. How many series can say, oh yeah, 7 is really one of the highlights? Literally almost none. They're billing this as the final reckoning. Whether or not it's the final one, not really important. The point is, they're making it a finale. You see in the trailers, they're bringing back the rabbit's foot. They're bringing back the knife from the first one. Ralph Saxon is coming back from the first one. They're going to conclude the story where it began. That's so interesting. That's the coolest way to take that. The most interesting way to take that story. Pirates could be doing that, or could be doing something similar to that. You've already set up that Davy Jones is like the rival of Johnny Depp. He's like a nemesis. Bring him back, make him the villain, easily the most recognizable villain from the Pirates series, you know? So bring him back, make him relevant, make him important, make it the last one. Whether or not Jack Sparrow dies, not really important. The point is you can now. That's an option on the table for you. Really tug at the audience's heartstrings here if you want to. But either way, this can be the send-off. And if you're bringing Gore Verbinski back, because I recommend you do, because he knew what the hell he was doing, and it guarantees that it's at least as good as those 3 movies, do one more time the same thing you did in the early 2000s. Make it a 2-parter. 6 and 7. A Captain's End, Part 1 and Part 2. Or whatever you want to call it for marketing purposes. But do one big $300 million production, a lot of which is just Johnny Depp's salary. Bring him back. Convince... He will come back if he is offered the same passion that I'm giving into this video, which is that this character is so freaking important and only he can do it. Then you think about Jack Sparrow, you think about in retrospect, you're like, what a great character, what a great series. I want to watch the whole series again. You can sell the whole series as one big collection now because it starts strong and it ends strong. And yeah, 4 and 5 are questionable, but you know what? 1, 2, even 3, and 6 and 7 rock, and it's a really good series. You know, Harry Potter sounds a lot like what I'm describing too. So like, you know, you got ups and downs, but Harry Potter ended strong, started strong too, and here we are. It's just one of those series where it's like fans can talk about which ones they prefer and how they got there and what they should have done and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you have these movies that start and end so strongly. This is, again, pretending that there's a great one on the horizon here. This would be what would cement Jack Sparrow and Pirates of the Caribbean as one of the greatest, most iconic film series in Hollywood history. And it's right there. And it's sitting on the table, all this fucking money and praise and success and fan satisfaction that could be happening right now. It's all sitting there in 1, maybe even 2 movies back to back with Gore Verbinski, I'm just saying. And they're just choosing not to do it. Sean Connery said he'd never do it again, and he did it again. Logan, Wolverine, said he'd never do it again, and Hugh Jackman did it again. Johnny Depp saying he's never going to do it again. The real thing that he's saying when he says, I never want to work with Disney again, what he's really saying is, if the movie's as good as Pirates 5, like if they make another movie that's somehow even worse than 5, yes, of course he's going to say no. I'd say no if I were him. But here's the thing. If you get a really passionate, creative, talented group of people behind it, and they pitch to Johnny Depp and say, hey, this is Jack Sparrow's final story. This is his swan song. Put on that makeup and that big trifold hat one more time, and we'll just rock and make the best movie we can. It might not be the best movie of all time. I'm not saying it should be. I'm saying it'll be a strong, satisfying conclusion to this series that can be this good and has been this good in the past. According to Rotten Tomatoes, everything except the first one are all rotten, so, you know, it's due for an upgrade. This series is absolutely due for some strong, talented writers to come in and make an excellent story, and somebody like Gore Verbinski, you know, what the hell is he doing now? Get him back to come in and make a great movie or 2 if you want to make even more money, but that's just up to you. So Disney, that's my plea. I'm making a video just for Bob Iger. Bobby, good old buddy Bob here. Everything I just said, just do it. And I promise, I swear to God, I will bet what little money I have that at least one or both of those movies that I'm describing will make north of $900 million at the box office. It'll make way more than Part 5 did, and it'll probably cross the $1 billion mark, especially if you bill it as the end and you bring him back one more time. That's a unique thing. No other movie has that. Only Disney has the rights to Jack Sparrow, and only Depp can do that for you. It makes money. It makes fans happy. It makes executives happy. It makes Johnny Depp happy. He'll be happier knowing that the last movie wasn't trash. I don't see who it doesn't benefit. That's why I'm so puzzled it hasn't happened yet. That's why, like, you know, CinemaCon just happened, and it's like, there's no news about that. Like, no one involved in, whether it's in the company or Johnny Depp's team, is trying to make this happen. Is anyone? Please, like, I would love to hear about anyone trying to make this happen because it's a great fucking idea. Send it off the way it should be sent off and leave the character and the other characters as well, you know, or Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley, who I have not mentioned at all. They're also great characters. They also deserve an ending, but they got their ending in Part 3. So honestly, they're all well and good. But either way, bring them back if you can. I would really like to see those big three on the screen again. They weren't all on screen again for a long time as well. So bring them all back, conclude their story, fight Davy Jones one more time, and just send it off in the sunset. Pirates of the Caribbean, A Captain's End. I have the poster in my mind. I have Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley behind him. It's a beautiful scene. You really got to ask the marketing team to whip it up because it would be beautiful. There's never a better time to do it, too, because he just won the court case against Amber Heard. That's like, this could be his great return to mainstream Hollywood after getting fired from Fantastic Beasts. This could be it. This is, what better way to return than as Jack fucking Sparrow? Oh my God. That would shake the world. He would be a rock star. He actually is. He's a Hollywood vampire. But he would be metaphorically a rock star too. He would be like, oh my God, king of the earth. So whoever makes deals at Disney right now, get off your ass, man. Make shit happen.